keep your blocks nearby, your strap nearby. We'll need all that in a little bit. Okay, so happy spring equinox. Happy spring, yay, finally. So traditionally, I always do practice for the equinoxes and the solstices, my favorite thing to do. And the equinox, we know, is a time of equal day, equal night. So there's a balance between energies. So there's harmony, which we all need a little more of, right? But in the yoga tradition, they have a lot to say about this concept of the sun and the moon as it relates to our bodies. So we have something called the nadis. And the nadis are, it's a word from Sanskrit that means a river or channel. So they're channels of energy that flow through the body. And according to the yogic texts from thousands of years ago, we have about 72,000 different pathways that energy flows in our body, which is a lot. But we focus on three main ones. There's one on the right, one on the left, and one in the center. The one on the right is said to be the sun. It's solar in nature. And the one on the left is lunar in nature. Sometimes they're said to be masculine, feminine, not as far as gender goes, but as far as qualities go. So masculine is very activating, it's productivity, getting things done. It's also considered to be very logical. And then the lunar side is more reflective, stillness, associated with, of course, we have day and night. The lunar is more nurturing energy and said to be more feminine. And so we have these channels of energy that flow through the body, and things can block those channels of energy. So our posture, scar tissue, emotional things can block it, and our practice helps that energy flow better through both channels. We can also be more dominant on one side versus the other. And we live in a culture that's very kind of more solar oriented, like getting things done. Productivity is more valued than sitting, being quiet and reflective, right? And so they say when these channels are balanced, we'll have better health because we'll just be in more balance. Both sides are important. But also as we balance the two main outer nadis, it brings us more into our center nadi. And that's where we have those more meditative states, also associated with awakening and enlightenment, all those kinds of things that the yogis talk about. And then it also relates to our brain. So you may have heard things like I'm more left-brained or more right-brained. This has to do with these channels in the body. So the right side of my body would be connected to my right nostril, and then the left side of the brain, and then vice versa, okay? And so probably if you've been doing yoga with me long enough, you've done the practice of alternate nostril breathing. And that's when we alternate between the two sides, and it's said to be very balancing and harmonizing for our brain. So if you feel like, out of sorts, anxious, those kinds of things, alternate nostril breathing can bring you back into balance. And they also say, like, at night, if you want to kind of calm down and be more lunar, you could just breathe through your left nostril, and that'll increase energy flow on that side. You could also breathe in through left, out through right, and then you discharge the energy from the right side. So if you're feeling very solar and you want to be more lunar, you could kind of play with these things. And then vice versa, if you want more energy, maybe you want to breathe through your right and discharge the left. So we're going to play with some of those things tonight, as well as work on some things balancing in the body. It's gonna be a little hip work, a little side bending. Have your props nearby, and you can go ahead and come on your back. So any position you wanna start in is fine. Just take a moment and notice for your own self, do you tend to be more in your lunar or your solar aspects of your being? And then we'll begin to observe the flow of the breath through the nose. And I'd like you to notice right away from the beginning of practice getting kind of very quiet and subtle on your attention to your breath flow in your nose, can you notice if one side seems more open than the other? And we call this nostril dominance in yoga. And so throughout your day, it switches to one side or the other. One side's usually dominant. And we can actually switch our nostril dominance just by the power of our awareness. So as you soften into the floor and come into that noticing of the breath, I want you to just play with this for a moment. Whichever nostril seems less dominant, I'd like you to bring all of your attention to that side and really focus there and see if you can switch your nostril dominance without using your hands, without trying to, manipulate or close anything off, just by putting all of your attention there. And it may or may not happen tonight, but with practice, you can switch your nostril dominance anytime you like. So just take another moment, seeing if you can make that happen. We said that our prana, our life force energy, flows through these nadis. And so we want them to be open, to be clear channels so that our life force energy flows freely. So our work that we do in yoga, whether it's somatic or any other kind of yoga, balances out these energies of the sun and the moon within us. So we'll start by just moving some basic movement. So let's bend knees, take your feet wide as the mat, arms out to T, and just come into your windshield wipers. So we're going to be working a bit with the legs, the hips, the knees. So I just want to start to get everything nice and warmed up. Let knees drop right and left. Maybe you want to take your head opposite of your knees and just starting to notice differences from right and left sides. Some other interesting things about nadis, it comes from the Sanskrit root word nad. And nad means sound, frequency, or vibration. And a nadi is where sound, frequency, and vibration flows. And I know some of you in this room do sound healing sessions. So there's a relationship there. The sound healing travels through these 72,000 channels of energy in our body, helping to bring us vitality and good health. Come back to the center and come into a pause. And we're just gonna continue a little warming up for the legs. Let's go ahead and bring the right knee into the chest. Give it a nice squeeze and extend the left leg out straight. And then take the right leg and put your right hand on the outside. Knee is still bent. Drop that knee open out to the side. And then just gently press your leg and your hand into each other and slowly straighten your leg any amount. And then just bend and straighten that leg slowly with a little bit of pressing the leg and the hand into each other. The nadis are also said to be somewhat akin to the Chinese medicine meridians that also flow through the body. And here, as we open the inner leg, we're opening up our liver, spleen, and kidney meridians in the body. So another channel of energy that flows. Okay, bring that knee back up to center, drop it over to the other side, and then extend it out to the other side. And now let's go back and forth. Out to the right, extend. Bend it across to the left and extend. Now you can do this using your hand for support, or you might just take your arms back out to a T. You're just kind of warming up through the hips, the lower back, the legs. If you want a little more, keep the legs straight. And just open it out to the side and then take it across. Nice and slowly. One more. Okay, come back to the center. Give that knee a hug back into your chest. And set that foot down. Extend both legs out. And just feel the right leg versus the left now. So anytime we move, we start to increase energy flow through the nadis. Increase the prana flow. When we're sedentary, prana stops flowing as much through the body. Sometimes I have you pause in somatics and say, can you feel the energy flow? So we're working on these things all the time, even if we're not talking about them. Okay, let's bring left knee into the chest. Give it a hug. And then we're going to drop that knee out to the side using your left hand as a little kickstand. Press your leg and your hand into each other and slowly extend and bend the leg. So we're warming up a little inner thigh, some hamstring, some hips and low back as we do this whole little opening sequence. Keep the foot gently flexed. And then the next time you bend it, bring it over across to the other side and extend. Bring it back in, bend, and take it out to the side. Now you could use your hands to support, or you could let your hands relax. And if it feels good for you, you might even do this whole sequence with the legs straight. And just feel how we open the inner leg, the outer leg. You might notice as you bring that leg back up and over to the other side, your outer hip engages on the opposite side. We always want to bring awareness to muscles that are waking up. A lot of times these outer hip muscles can be kind of sleepy. And then we have imbalances. One more of these. And then we'll come back to center, release the foot down, straighten the leg, take a breath or two there. Okay, let's go ahead and take our arms overhead into a full body stretch. And then we'll do our up, slip, down, slip movement. So inhale, reach through your right arm, right leg. Here we open up the solar channel. Exhale, soften. And then inhale, left arm, left leg, lengthen. Opening the lunar channel and then soften. Go ahead and go side to side a few times, noticing if there's any significant difference from one side to the other. I want you to remember that there are two phases to every movement pattern. There is the action, which is solar, and then there is the releasing, the pausing, the stillness, which is lunar. Both are important here because we want our brain to be able to sense both the doing and the non-doing. So we build brain maps for both our lunar side and our solar side. The breath itself also has these qualities, so many polarities in our body. So the inhale is more activating, solar, energizing. And the exhale is more softening, releasing, relaxing. One more round. And after this next round, finish on your left side, let your arms come back down. Let's take a breath or two. Okay, you're welcome to have a blanket under your head for this whole next sequence if you want. We're going to need our 2 blocks. Okay, left leg is straight. Bend your right knee, set the right foot flat. And then we're going to drop the right knee out to the side like we're in a tree pose on our back. Now, if you have strain anywhere on the right knee, right leg, you might want to put a block under your knee. If you're okay, you're going to skip that block. But we're still going to need 1 block. Okay? So you might need 2, you might need 1. We're going to take our block and place it on your upper inner thigh on the flat setting. And put your hand on top of the block. So we make a little block sandwich between our leg and our hand. We're going to press the block down with our hand, and at the same time, press the leg up into the block. As you do that, notice any muscles that are firing. Maybe it's your outer hip muscle, maybe it's a little inner thigh, and then relax. We're going to repeat that. Press your hand into your block, block into your hand, leg into the block. Notice muscles that are engaging, and then relax. So we'll do a few of those, and I'd like you to notice that maybe at first there's just a little engagement, and as you continue, at least for me, we get more muscle engagement. Sometimes it's a little dormant, and as we continue to work it, it sort of expands a little bit, wakes up a little more. Make sure you remember the relaxing phase on the exhale. Okay, now we're going to move the block to the middle thigh and just repeat that same thing. So we're going to press our leg and our hand into the block, squeeze the block, and feel what muscles are engaging in the outer hip. These are muscles that take the leg into that open position we call external rotation. They also help stabilize our pelvis and support our lower back. If you have any pain, go easy, or make sure you're adding that block underneath your knee for support. Notice now maybe there's a little bit more engagement. And then when you're ready, move the block down one more time above the knee toward that outer inner thigh. And again, press and release. Each time you move the block, you might be feeling things a little differently. And just notice. Inhale to engage, exhale to release. Try not to shortchange that releasing phase. Okay, and then go ahead and bring the knee up to vertical when you're ready and straighten the leg and just pause. And just notice any, thing that feels different about right leg versus left leg right now. Just feel more brightness, kind of a buzzy feeling through the leg. And then we'll even ourselves out. So bend the left knee, drop the knee out to the side into external rotation. Support the knee if you like with a block. And then your other block goes on your inner thigh. And then we'll do our pressing and releasing. So notice maybe what you feel now on that left side. Maybe there's a lot less engagement than on your right side, because the right side, we eventually were able to gain more engagement of those smaller outer hip muscles. And also, if you're more dominant on one side, the other side could be extra sleepy. You might even just take an extra long pause just to observe, just to notice the releasing phase. When we take a little bit of an extra long pause, we build a bigger brain map for the relaxing, training our brain to let go. The tension held in our muscles and in our fascia are all kind of originating in our brain and our nervous system. Move that block down when you're ready to the middle part. And now I'm already sensing that I'm getting more engagement. So we wouldn't want to just press down. It would maybe cause a little more strain on the muscles and the ligaments and the tendons, the knee. But by pressing up and down with your hand and your leg at the same time, we're keeping it a little bit safer. See if you can also keep the opposite side of your body very relaxed, so we isolate. And then we'll move that block down a little bit lower toward right above the knee. And this is really interesting, guys. So if your knee is like elevated a lot, I've been doing this all week now. I've taught this practice in various levels of yoga throughout the week, not doing the exact same things. But I'm noticing my leg is almost all the way to the floor now, where in the beginning of the week it wasn't. We can create change by doing these pandiculating movements of engagement and releasing. It's like we can change our nervous system, our lives, by balancing out our moon and our sun. Okay, after you finish this next one, bring the knee up, straighten the leg, take a pause. Now, when I say non-doing, you know, moon side, it doesn't really mean Netflix and chill, right? That's still input. External input is still considered solar, even though like we consider that relaxing in our culture. I'm talking about more inward reflective practices. Okay, now we're gonna need just one block for the next little series. We're gonna take one block. You might have to sit up for this. We're gonna put the block between our legs, straighten the left leg, and trap the block between your left leg and your right foot. And then we're gonna take our right foot on top of the block. So you're gonna slide the block to where it supports your foot, okay? Actually, you might need two blocks because we're gonna drop that knee open again. So some of you, again, might need to put that block somewhere to support. You can put it out farther to open more or bring it in closer. If you're okay, you don't need that block. So same position, but we're gonna change up our actions. So now the outer edge of your foot, the pinky toe side, is up on the block. Your other leg, let's keep it active, foot is flexed, kneecap is pointing up, so that we can feel like we're level in our pelvis. And then gently press your foot down into the block as if you want to make an impression in the block. And then release. So very similar, but we're going to be adding on this time. Press into the block. We'll do that one more time. Maybe feeling some similar muscles there. Now press into the block, and as if you're going to drag your block to the right, try to drag your right foot to the right. It starts to open up the inner thigh a little bit. The block might slide, it might not, and then relax. If your block moves away, slide it back in. Okay? So that's the action. We're going to press down into the pinky toe side and then drag that foot isometrically out toward the right. And then we open up that inner thigh a little bit more and then relax. Okay, so keep that going now. So if we were doing like a regular yoga class, we could maybe be preparing for doing our tree pose standing. We don't stand in this class. But one of the things that can limit the ability of the leg to open is tightness on our inner thigh. And unless we're doing a regular yoga practice, that's not an area in our daily living that gets much stretch. So we'll do one more after this one. So finish this one, relax, and one more. Okay, relax, in position, let all effort go. And now we're going to draw the knee up and set the foot flat on the block. So adjust it so it supports your foot. Bring your arms into robot arm position. So I call it robot arms when the fingertips point up, the elbows are bent. Rather than goalposts, this is robot arms. Okay, tuck your shoulders under. And now we're going to work a little bit at the back of the leg. So we're going to press into the foot as if you're going to try and make a footprint in your block and then relax. At the same time, you could press your arms and your elbows down. And here we're waking up the hamstring muscles in the back of the leg, often another sleepy area of our anatomy. We tend to have more overdeveloped quads and underdeveloped hamstrings. Now I'm going to give you the opportunity to add on to this if you want. I would recommend taking any blanket out for the next part, just for temporarily. If you want to go further, press into the block and lift your left leg up toward the ceiling. And then lower the leg, relax your foot on the block, and repeat. Push down, lift the leg. And we're going to do one more add-on after you get that one. Now, if you tend toward cramping, you got to go easy here. Especially as we go to this next phase. So don't press so hard. If your hamstring starts to cramp up, you might need to stick with phase 1. Phase 3, we're going to push into the block, lift the leg, dig your arms into the floor, and now lift your hips. And now we get a little more glute muscle. Another sleepy, potentially sleepy muscle in the body. Okay, so a few more rounds now. You can stick with option 1, 2, or 3, up to you. So we engage the back of the leg and the glute, and then we relax it. So if we were doing a standing balance pose, our hamstrings support our balance. We don't often think of them as balance muscles, but they do support the back of the leg. And they support our lower back. So if they're weak and or tight, it's going to affect the lower back. Last one. Okay, relax your arms. Switch your block over to the other foot and straighten your right leg. Take a pause. Breathe in, breathe out. Maybe now more energy flow through the back of the leg. Okay, let's go ahead and begin side two. Come into your robot arms. And start by just pressing your foot into the block. Start to wake up that muscle gradually. So if we go right into that big hip lift, it's going to be a lot more demanding. So start out nice and easy, and maybe you even want to stay there. Everything we do is kind of on a continuum, right? There's yoga of all types: somatic yoga, yin yoga, restorative yoga, hot yoga, power yoga, you name it. Some are more solar, some are more lunar. But if we take any of those styles of yoga, maybe start to lift your leg now, compared to, say, kickboxing. Kickboxing is going to be more solar, it's more active, more demanding. So a couple rounds with just lifting the leg, like ready to lift my hips. So if you're ready, you can go ahead whenever you're ready. You're not going to go to cramping. And just move slowly and mindfully so that we feel every aspect of this movement pattern. Try not to check out, go on autopilot. We want the brain to notice the awakening of that back of the leg. I start thinking about something other than present moment, I'm not going to build that brain map. Oh, I forgot to do the other part. Nobody said anything. Right? Did we do the inner thigh thing?
No, we didn't.
We didn't, yeah. I didn't think we did. Okay. We will circle back to that. Kind of makes more sense to do these two in a row anyway. Let's do one more round. All right, and then we'll go ahead and drop that knee open on the block, supported with the other block if needed. Make sure your hips are level. We're gonna flex the right foot, right thigh on the ground. And start by just pressing your pinky toe side of your foot down into the block. And then relax. You have that full release. And then you can begin to add on the drag. So we'll press down and drag the foot toward the left. The block may move or not. If anything's too much, go back to what felt okay for you. The dragging is too much, you can just do the pressing. You can press gently if needed. Do one more round. And then you're gonna go ahead and slide your block to the side. Straighten your left leg. Take a moment, feel and sense. throughout the practice, in these pauses, maybe notice also, does your nostril dominance change at all? Or maybe at some point, there might be even a little bit of evenness. All right, we're gonna place our hands behind the back of the head, legs stay straight, elbows wide. And we're gonna repeat the up slip, down slip with a side bend because eventually we're gonna go back to some tree pose variations and add a side bend. So we're not lifting anything off the ground, it's just a slide. Slide your whole upper body, elbow toward the right hip, right elbow toward the right hip. And you're contracting the right side while lengthening the left side. And then come back and release in the center. And then other side, inhale, left elbow toward left hip. And then reach through your right elbow. Exhale, soften back to the center. And then side to side, keep it going. You can make this as gentle or as activated as you like tonight. So if you want more, you can even press your straight or your lengthening leg rather into the floor, activating a little more quadricep. You could contract your hip up more towards your elbow on the shortening side to get a little more out of that. And here we alternate between opening our solar and our lunar channels, the right and left side. Now pay attention to the breath in your nose. So a lot of times, the side that we're lengthening will open up more. And you'll breathe more through that side of your nose. The nadis depend a lot on our good posture, good alignment. And so if we're standing evenly on our feet when we're standing, we're going to have better energy flow. And if we open up potentially short and tighten areas, we're going to have more energy flow. You might even bring your head to look towards your elbow as another little add-on. You might pause in any one position if it might feel good. Really interesting to pause and take a really nice long full breath. Notice what you feel when you do so. Be mindful of your lower back, last round. And we'll come back to the center and let everything go. Take a few breaths. Just observing, again, this sense of the energy flow in the body. Just take a couple more breaths. All right, so a little break again from some of the tree stuff. We're gonna bring our knees into our chest. Open the knees and reach down, and you could hold your shins, your ankles, or the pinky toe sides of your feet, depending on what you can easily get. And you'll probably notice this opens up both hips out to the side, both legs out to the side. Take a moment, just breathe there. So according to the yoga tradition, the nadis begin at the base of our spine, pelvic floor area, also known as the root chakra. And then they don't go in straight lines. They actually crisscross, the two main nadis crisscross at our spine. And at each place they crisscross is one of the chakras. So there are 7 of those. So here we open up the area where they originate at the root chakra. Now we're gonna hold on wherever you can and sort of pull the knees apart. Just notice how that opens up the inner thigh area and then soften, relax. And then repeat. Inhale, pull the knees, the feet apart from each other. Exhale, relax. Let's do a few more of those. Draw your shoulders down as you pull the feet and legs apart. So the chest also opens. And of course, the chakras themselves can get blocked, deficient. That's a whole other topic. Here we also target the kind of end area of our psoas, which connects to the inner thigh. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and bring the knees together, set the feet down, take a pause. Maybe you want to straighten the legs, maybe not. And breathe. All right, one more of these kind of feet in the air movements. We're gonna bring the knees back into the chest. Crisscross your right ankle over your left ankle. Pull the knees toward the chest. You can hold again shins, ankles, or again the pinky toe sides of your feet. And we're gonna flex the feet. Okay. And then we're gonna inhale, press the legs out into the arms, arms into the legs, shoulders down. And then relax. And repeat. The last one of those, stay in position. So your right ankle's on top. We're gonna see if we can bring that foot up, but don't let go of what you're holding on to. So it looks like one leg's like down angle, the other foot's kind of like in a lunge on your back, or like a half happy baby. Sort of a pretzel-y kind of thing. And we're gonna press the outer leg and the arm into each other on that right side. And then we strengthen the outer hip. And then soften, and again, we're just pandiculating that same action. The foot is flexed, the one that's up in the air. You might also get a little shoulder stretch as you press the foot up. The back of the left shoulder might get a little stretch. You may draw that left knee a little away. Last one. We'll bring that right foot back down. Maybe rock a little right to left across your lower back. And then we're gonna switch the legs. So the left leg on top. If you wanna circle out your feet a little bit, circle out your ankles, hold wherever you can. It might be the knees, might be the feet. A little flex to the feet. And then first round, we just press out into the arms, maybe press your lower back down. and relax. Outer hips really important to our balance as well. Especially if we have to sit for work, our legs can get a little weak. So we're waking them up. Make sure you have your relaxing face. Last one, then we move into that second position. So the left foot is on top. See if you could bring it up toward the ceiling. The other knee stays like kind of a bound angle, it's a little bit of a pretzel. And then we're gonna press the leg out into the arm into the leg. Press the foot up and relax. Maybe that right knee moves a little bit away from the body. And also just hold on to the outer ankle. If you can't get the foot, no worries. The last one. And we'll bring that foot back down, pause, maybe rock a little bit. And then release both feet down to the ground. Pause for a moment. Maybe you feel like another little windshield wiper. All right, we are going to look for our strap next. So grab your strap. And we're going to take the strap around the right foot. And set the foot on the floor for now. Straighten your left leg. So left leg's on the floor, right knee bent, right foot on the floor. And then again, we're dropping that knee open. We're going to go back to that tree position one more time. Now the tail, we're going to take across your inner right thigh and take that tail off to the right somewhere. And you're going to hold as close as you can toward your leg or your foot, depending on your arm length. And then I'm going to take my blanket out. It's up to you if you feel like you need it. Take your left arm overhead into a full body stretch. Okay. So right foot close to the left inner thigh, left foot is flexed. Combining some things now. We're going to pull on the strap. And as you pull on the strap, let your head roll to your right shoulder. And again, feel that outer hip engaging. And then relax. We're going to repeat that and add a full body stretch on the left. So pull on the strap, engage that right outer hip, and then reach your left arm, left leg long. And on an exhale, relax. Repeat. Remember, you can always support that outer knee with your block if you didn't. And we're opening up that left channel again. Take a nice full inhale as you reach your arm and leg away from each other. Exhale, soften. One more. Okay, stay in the same position, just relax your arm for a moment. Relax your grip on the strap. Breathe in, breathe out. Now we're going to make this into a side bend. So we did those side bends earlier. We're going to shift our rib cage, our shoulders, our head over toward the right knee. So shift yourself over so you're in a side bend. And then again, reach your left arm back overhead. So now we open up that left channel even more. Same thing, pull on the strap, head rolls to the right shoulder. Reach through your left arm, left leg. Exhale, relax. Let go of all your effort. And then repeat. Excuse me. We'll do a few more on this side. We're also contracting through the right side waist here. Opening up the inner thighs, strengthening right outer hip. Lots going on in this simple movement. Lengthening psoas on your left side. One more. And then we'll slowly come back to center. Even yourself out, take your strap off. Straighten both legs. Pause and breathe. Okay, let's try the other side. Strap around your left foot. Right leg straight. Drop the left knee open, support if needed. And your strap is going to go right across your middle thigh. And the tail goes off to your left side. Hold as close as you can towards your leg or your foot. And then right arm overhead, full body stretch. First round, we're staying in the middle. So we are going to pull on the strap, let your head roll over your left shoulder, and reach through your right arm, right leg. Exhale, soften. And then repeat. Maybe have a moment or two when you linger in your inhale. And linger in your exhale. Maybe you're pressing your right thigh into the floor. Contracting your side waist. Or maybe you're keeping it really soft tonight. There is no right or wrong, whatever your body needs. One more. Okay, relax your arm for a moment just before we go into the side bend. We're going to shift our whole rib cage, shoulder girdle, head over to the left. Everything's still flat on the ground, hips are level, shoulders are level. Then take your right arm back up overhead. Pull on your strap, reach through your arm and your leg. Exhale, soften. And then repeat. Opening up now the solar channel on the right. 2 more. And relax, and we'll go back to the center. Take your strap off. Straighten your legs. Take a couple breaths. So we're going to be taking an earlier Shavasana tonight so that we have time to finish with pranayama. We'll do our alternate nostril breathing after Shavasana. So we're going to take any finishing postures you might like before Shavasana. So maybe you want to do knee hugs, happy babies, windshield wipers, get any layers or props you might want for your relaxation time. In your own time, you could settle into Shavasana. So when we balance out the moon and sun energies within us, we bring more balance into the center channel called the Sushumna channel. Which brings us into more harmony, integration, balance. So we're going to imagine that we're just drawing into that center. Imagining now like a beam of light, starting out at the soles of your feet, traveling up your inner legs, through your spinal column, all the way up to the crown of your head, where there's even a little separating membrane between your 2 brain hemispheres. Just rest in that center for a moment. We call this finding a still point. During stillness, the mind is more settled, less distracted. It has better focus and heightened sensory awareness. A relaxation of muscle tone and a release of soft tissue restrictions. Going into stillness at the end of our yoga practice is like lying back into an ocean where a wave lulls us back to source. We have more clarity, more calmness. We come into that still point. This said, in the stillness, the ego evaporates. We all know times when no matter how adept our practice is, can sometimes be more externally oriented, performance-based. losing the quality of our original intention for practicing. So we cultivate this quietness, this presence. We come back to our breath, to the moment of being rather than becoming. So notice here at the end of practice your nostril dominance again, if it has shifted, if it has changed. No right or wrong, just noticing. Now we're going to do a little mini yoga nidra to finish tonight. Yoga nidra is kind of a guided meditation, takes you further into your still point. Bring your attention to your heart center. And on the right side of your heart center, imagine gold, beautiful golden sun. And on the left side of your heart center, silvery, reflective, calming moonlight. So within you, in the center of your chest, there is the sun and the moon in your visualization. Take your attention to the sunlight. Let it pour down through your right shoulder, like golden honey, soothing, warm light down your arm, into your hand, and into every fingertip. Let that warm golden light travel back up to your shoulder and back into the side of your chest. Rays of sunlight emanating out, and now down your torso into your hip. Down your leg, through your knee, your ankle, your foot, and all of the toes, like rays of sunlight. And traveling it back up through your leg, through your hip, through your torso, back to your heart center. Golden rays of sunlight moving up your chest into your neck. And then to the opposite side of your brain, into your left brain. Coming back down, back into the heart center. Once again, noticing the sun and the moon. The moon on the left. Now coming into your awareness. That gentle, calming moonlight travel through your left shoulder. Down through your arm, your elbow. Be like millions of stars filling your arm, your fingertips. Letting that silvery light travel all the way back up to your shoulder. Back to the left side of your chest. Moonbeams shining out. And then down through your torso, your hip, moonlight pouring down your legs, starlight. All the way down to your foot and into each of your left toes. And then traveling back up through your leg, back to your hip, back to the left side of your chest. Moonbeams glowing up into the side of your neck. And then into your right brain. Moonlight shining in your right brain. And then coming back down, back into the left side of your chest. And now feel and sense your whole body, right side, filled with sunlight. Left brain filled with sunlight. Left body filled with starlight, moonbeams. Right brain filled with moonlight. See if you could picture this whole concept of sun, moon in the body and in opposite sides of your brain. Bringing you into that place of balance and integration. And then back down to your heart center, sun and the moon meeting at heart center. Now just be in this place of integration for another minute or two. Letting your back body sink into darkness, front body open to light. So many polarities within us. Now in a few moments, we're going to be coming out to do our final breath practice of alternate nostril breathing. Before you move, once again, take notice of your nostril dominance. And invite in those small movements when you're ready. Try not to make any jarring movements. We just brought ourselves into this very calm, balanced place. You want to move slowly. And when you're ready, you could bend your knees and come onto your side. Now, in some traditional yoga, we always come to our right side. And we leave our left side more open, keeping that calm state as we return to seated. I always leave it up to you how you want to end, which side you want to come to. But traditionally, it's to the right. When you're ready, go ahead, press down into the ground. We'll come on up into a seated position. Now I'm gonna talk you through this. Has anyone never done alternate nostril breathing before? Never? Yeah. Okay, so you've done it. Yeah, everyone's done it. Okay, I'm gonna pass around some oils if you wanna use some oils tonight. Sometimes sandalwood is used to mark the third eye center. These are two different ones you can use. This one's a blend, sandalwood, vetiver, and neroli, and this one's just sandalwood. So you'll just maybe put a little dot here and put an impression because the nadis crisscross and they cross at the third eye into the brain. So we'll focus there as well. So I'm just, if you don't want them, you could just pass them on. So and then I'll talk you through it. You'll have to use smell-o-vision at home. So we're gonna do one hand in front of your face, and I usually use my thumb to block my right, pinky and ring to block the left, and the other fingers kind of rest around that third eye. You don't have to like press hard on your nostril. You just have to really go above the nostril and close the cartilage, and that blocks the air, and it's a little more gentle. And then my teachers sometimes will say, visualize the sun and moon at your nostril. So it's the moon on your left and the sun on your right. So you're breathing in those energies. Every time you breathe in, you're increasing the energy flow in that nadi. As you breathe out, you're discharging. So put your hand in place and just breathe in, breathe out through both sides. And then gently block your right and breathe in through the left. Gently close the left, focusing around the third eye. And then exhale, open the right. Inhale through your right. Gently block the right, pause, and then when you're ready, open the left, breathe out the left. Breathe in that moonlight on the right, on the left. Close, pause, breathe out the right. Breathe in the sunlight on the right. Close, block, breathe out through the left. That's a full cycle when we breathe out through the left, so that's 2 rounds. Continue at your own breath cycle. So you might be a little different than me. If you need to discharge more solar energy to sleep better tonight, you might want to breathe out longer through your right. Breathe in longer through your left. Your arm gets tired, you could prop it up or switch arms. Do one more round and then relax your hand down. The yogis encourage the use of the neti pods to help clear the nose channels. And this practice is said to purify the nadis, energy channels. Now let the hands rest down. We're going to do one more thing. We're going to see if we can use our power of awareness to do this practice without using the hands, which means you have to get really subtle in your attention and put all of your attention on the nostril you're breathing in or out of. So breathe in and breathe out normally. And you may or may not get it tonight, no worries. Put all of your attention in your left nostril and breathe in. Pause at the brow center. And then breathe out all of your tension on the right. Breathe in through the right. Pause. Breathe out left. And now continue on your own, seeing if you could put all of your focus on the side you're breathing in or out of. And see if you could do this just with your awareness. Yogis say where our attention goes, our prana flows. The prana is the smallest, minute unit of energy that flows through all of these channels in our bodies. Finish out this next round. Come back to normal breathing. So I'll finish with a poem from T.S. Eliot. He was greatly influenced by the yoga literature, like the Bhagavad Gita. And this is called The Still Point. Focus at the third eye. At the still point of the turning world, neither flesh nor fleshless, neither from nor towards, at the still point, there the dance is. But neither arrest nor movement, and do not call it fixity. Where past and future are gathered, neither movement from nor towards, neither ascent nor decline. Except for the point, the still point, there would be no dance, and there is only the dance. So we move in and out of our sun and our moon all the time, but we need both to be healthy, balanced, and vibrant. Turn your palms up on your knees. Imagine the sun in the right palm, the moon in the left. And then bring them together in front of your heart space. Back to that visual of meeting the sun and the moon at your heart space. Take an inhale, exhale, bow inward. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.